Molly's new rival. One morning the engines were in the sheds when the Fat Controller came to see them. She had very important news. You must all welcome the new engine. Her name is Caitlin, and you must all be on your best behaviours. And there are some changes today. While you're all ready to welcome Caitlin, we have a few changes today. Molly, you'll be pulling Rosie's trucks, while Rosie and Caitlin will pull your passenger train. Molly was cross. But that's not fair, she said. I'm afraid it is, said the Fat Controller. Now you are going to do as you're told. Yes, sir, grunted Molly, but Molly still didn't like it. When they were about to set off, the new engine finally came. She looked ordinary, but she had a different shape as well. The new engine finally arrived, and the nameplate had already said Caitlin, and there was Caitlin at the shed. This is Caitlin, said the Fat Controller. She's going to be helping Rosie take care of Molly's job for a while. Hello, said the engine. Molly didn't dare say hello, and with that, the three engines did. Molly had never seen an engine like Caitlin before, and with that, Molly did not want to talk. The Fat Controller is ready. Now all of you get started. Yes, sir, said the three engines, and then Caitlin puffed away. Rosie puffed away too. And then the two engines set off to fetch Molly's coaches. Molly had a naughty plan. She was going to play a trick on Caitlin and Rosie. Molly did not like Caitlin, and with that, Molly was then ready to play her trick, and she puffed away. At the station, the passengers were waiting for Caitlin and Rosie, but they were still expecting Molly at first. Just then, Molly finally came to the station before Rosie and Caitlin. Yes, she said. She was coupled to her own coaches. The passengers were on board, and Molly puffed away. This is fun, she said, and she puffed away. Meanwhile, Rosie and Caitlin were heading straight to the station. But when they arrived at the station, they realised that the coaches were gone. Where are they? Said Caitlin. You said there were. I know, said Rosie. Maybe the Fat Controller was getting it wrong. I think he meant was that you might be pulling trucks with me today. Okay then, said Caitlin, and the two engines were ready, and they puffed away to find their trucks. They had already found the trucks. Rosie was coupled to her own trucks, and then Caitlin was Rosie's back engine, and they puffed out of the quarry together. The trucks still didn't like Rosie, but they didn't like Caitlin as well. But the two engines already set off. They were enjoying themselves together. Then there was trouble. The trucks were causing too much trouble. And then they were pushing Rosie and pulling Caitlin way too fast. What's going on? Said Caitlin. I can't stop, said Rosie. The trucks are... The trucks are pushing us. Help, said Caitlin. The trucks were being way too strong for them. And at the back, there was Molly with the coaches, laughing at the two engines getting defeated by the trucks. This will teach them, she thought, and she carried on. And then the two engines didn't notice Molly with the coaches. I can't stop, said Caitlin. Neither can I, said Rosie. The two engines were scared. They couldn't stop themselves. This is terrible, said Rosie. On, laughed the trucks. The trucks began their troublesome plan, and it was beginning to be too much. And it was beginning to be too much. And the trucks were still continuing. We can't stop, said Rosie. Good for you, said the trucks. Help, said Caitlin. I'm not the one who's pushing you, aren't I? said Caitlin. I know, said Rosie. Just be careful. I am, said Caitlin. But the trucks were still causing trouble. Help, said Rosie. Then they approached the top of the hill, and they did. They walked the hill so fast that they couldn't stop. They were up a steep hill where it was too dangerous. This is too much, said Rosie. I can't stop anymore. Neither can I, said Caitlin. We're all gonna crash. And they were. It was too late for the two engines to be saved. Then Rosie went down the hill. Caitlin saw something. Molly and the passengers. So it was true, said Caitlin. Molly tricked us. Molly pretended that she hadn't heard. Suddenly, a damaged tree had blocked the line. Stop, said Rosie. But it was too late. Rosie crashed into the tree. And Caitlin crashed into the trucks. And the stones, rubble, and slate were everywhere. And the two engines looked terrible. Molly laughed and laughed while the disaster was finally over for her. The Fat Controller arrived and saw what was going on. Don't worry, he said. I'll call for the breakdown train. And then Caitlin told the Fat Controller what Molly was up to. Molly was about to leave when the Fat Controller stopped her. Stop right there, he said. That was a disgrace. And we do not do that to a new engine. Yes, sir. I'm sorry, sir, said Molly. You are a very naughty engine, he said. For your punishment, you'll jump trucks for a while. I'm sorry, sir, said Molly. Molly puffed sadly away. She still had her new rival, Caitlin, but it was not over yet.